The biggest update to the EV tax credit that we have seen in the past 8 months, and this one is a big one. Let's get right into it. So first, I'm going to tell you the big announcement, and then we're going to dive a little deeper, go over timelines of what you should expect when you should order your Tesla. Well, first and foremost, the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022, an agreement has been reached with Senator Chuck Schumer and Senator Joe Manchin. This is huge because Senator Joe Manchin was one of the two senators that really blocked the Build Back Better plan, which included a $7,500 EV tax credit. Well, what is this Inflation Reduction Act of 2022? Well, it brings back, listen to this, a point of sale credit for $7,500. So a post by Sawyer Merritt breaks it all down in full detail. I'm going to tell you the top things that you need to know. When does this matter? So you must purchase your Tesla after December 31st of 2022. So this is for any Tesla that is purchased as it is written right now in 2023. It's a point of sale tax credit. So what does that mean? That means that you get that discount at the time of purchase. You don't have to wait until you file your taxes, and it is the $7,500 as long as the vehicles meet the requirements. So who's going to qualify for the full $7,500? Well, the thresholds for income for the $7,500 is $300,000 in the case of joint filers, so if you're filing with a spouse or what have you, and a $150,000 cap for head of household. I read that as, if you're a single filer, $150,000 salary in a year. So which Teslas qualify? So we can see here the vehicle caps, $80,000 for vans. Tesla doesn't have any vans yet. SUVs, so this would be the Model Y. So small SUV, that is what the Model Y is considered. So retail price must not exceed these amounts. So $80,000 for the SUVs. $80,000 for pickup trucks. Now this is a 10-year proposal. So we can just go back to the top here. It's a 10-year credit, expires on 2032. So the Cybertruck, how much will that cost? We don't really know. Now there were some specs we already talked about in the past that started around $40,000. So we'll have to keep an eye out if the Cybertruck qualifies for this credit down the road. Other, like sedans, cannot exceed $55,000, so this would be your Model 3. Now obviously the Model S doesn't qualify based on that retail price being higher than $55,000. But again, the retail price, if you're looking at a Model 3, $55,000 is the cap for that. What are the next steps for this act? When can you expect this to be passed? Because this is not passed yet, it is proposed, but I will tell you it's almost as good as passed. Now my prediction is this will hit the Senate, and if you're wondering what are the next steps, when is this going to be voted on? Well, it's a sweeping climate tax and healthcare bill. Now obviously there's some other incentives in there. It's scheduled to hit the Senate floor next week. So I say this is a really good sign and as good as being passed, again, even though it hasn't yet, because Senator Joe Manchin was the one previously to really hold up the Build Back Better plan in the EV tax credits. So now seeing the Senator Joe Manchin on board and leading this program, which includes the $7,500 tax credits, is a huge win for all automotive EV makers and especially Tesla. Senator Joe Manchin says we must be honest about the economic reality America faces. That's why I'm proud to support the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022, which will address record inflation by paying down national debt and by lowering energy and healthcare costs. So what are next steps? Well, like we spoke about, it goes to the Senate next week for an official vote. It does need the majority of the Senate to pass this act, and then it goes to a Democratic-controlled House. And essentially, this is a really, really good sign. So what you need to do is next week, check in with the channel, subscribe if you haven't for those updates. And in 2023, again, remember, this is for orders in 2023. So after the end of this year. Stay tuned. This is huge. It is now a point of sale incentive. So you get that money right at the point of sale. You don't have to wait until your tax refund. And we're going to keep you updated with all of the latest. And by the way, did I mention that in this act, there's $10 billion to incentivize the building of clean vehicles. And if you're considering a used Tesla, there's also a $4,000 credit in this act as well. So there's a ton of money going to clean energy and EV future. So this is a massively important act. We're going to see what happens, so make sure to stay tuned. If you did like this extremely important update, the only way I know you enjoyed it is, of course, to drop a like and subscribe. Do not miss the updates next week. Again, this is Matt from Frunk to Trunk. We will see you in the next video.